At this time, we begin the Finance Committee meeting. Agenda item 2.1, review and discussion of the revised interlocal participation agreement with Tasby Risk Management Fund Coverage Program.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Board President Moreno, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Interim Superintendent Ms. Servillon. For this agenda item, we would like to review and discuss the revisions on the interlocal participation agreement with Tasby Risk Management Fund Coverage Program. So this contract goes up every 2 years. They revise if they feel that it is necessary. This is the 10th year, and they did find a couple of areas where they did feel that there was some revisions needed. And we have invited Mr. Adrian Pena from Tasby Risk Management Services, if anybody has any very specific questions about where those changes may be. I know of a couple of them that do not affect the overall operations of the district and what we are currently doing. But Mr. Pena, if you don't mind, sir. Would you mind explaining the revisions, sir?
Risk manager consultant for the district. Tasby Risk Management Fund tweaks the interlocal participation agreement every 10 years. So one of the things that was brought or is being brought to you guys is that our fund board decided that instead of just having the superintendent sign the agreement every 10 years, it is to be presented to the board for ratification. And there is there's a laundry list of things that they tweaked, and those are found on the frequently asked questions. So if you're probably asking what is an interlocal participation agreement, it's actually an approved method of purchasing under the Texas Education Code. And it's also been ratified by a Attorney General opinion that goes back to 1999, where you can either go out to bid every single year, which is really not a viable option most of the time, or if you are in an approved interlocal participation agreement like you are now, then if you agree with the pricing, you sign on the dotted line for that coverage, whether it be auto liability and property. That is the gist of it, in that there are some other things. If you'd like me to go through every single one, I can. There's issues about contribution. There's issues about, so if a loss prevention employee from Tasby comes out and says, hey, listen, guys, I think one way to reduce slip and fall accidents is to not mop, during the hours of 10 and 1, and you continue to mop between the hours of 10 and 1, you don't take our quote-unquote service advice, then you blame us for, the claims. There's really not an express warranty for loss prevention services. We're just letting you know this is something that maybe you should consider. That's one of the examples. Another example that is also tweaked in here is if you decide not to pay your bill to Tasby, and we have a claim that's floating out there, we actually have some verbiage in there now that we can hold on to that money until we get the full amount of the contribution. Luckily, that never happens with you guys. So there's little things like that. You can read the laundry list of things that are on there. One other issue that I think is important is if you do decide to sue Tasby Risk Management Fund, venue will now be in Travis County. And hopefully that will not happen either. I wouldn't want to go to Travis County, but hey. Yes. So any other specific questions? Other than those major changes, there's really nothing crazy. Tasby is going to concentrate this year in that there has been I wouldn't say a rash, but there is some firms out there that are going after school districts and promising school districts that Let us take a look at your damages for your buildings. And did Tasby come out and pay your claim? Yeah, Tasby came out and paid our claim. Well, we can tell you that you've been underpaid, and we can promise you X amount of money more. One of the things that we're finding is that it turns out that it really doesn't work that way, and we stand by what we pay you guys. Through that experience that we've had, we have now put in place, and it's actually to protect the school district. So if the board decides, hey, we're going to hire legal expert or adjuster expert Joe Blow to come and do an evaluation, our duty is not to Joe Blow. In other words, we cannot just say, well, here's San Benito stuff. We don't work for Joe Blow. We work for you guys. So what we're basically saying is, do not assign your rights to, let's say, an adjuster out there, because we're not going to deal with them. So some of this stuff is kind of new and coming up. But as Ms. Perez said, this is only done every 10 years, and I guess this is my second time to do this, so go figure. Any questions?
Questions, comments? Thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome. Have a good evening.
You too. This becomes an agenda item.
Yes, please.
Next agenda item, 2.2, review and discussion of proposals on meals and catering services district-wide.
So every 3 months, we do go out for bids for meals and catering services. And for this round, we are requesting to add Reach for the Sky Bake Shop, Rolling Smoke Barbecue, and SB Wings. And this is to be in addition to what we currently already have. So they will be added to the list of vendors that we will be working with, if approved, ma'am.
Are there,
I have a question. On the Rolling Smokes, you say vendor location is here? The new location?
Yes, sir. You are correct. However, we take the address that we have on their tax filing. Any other questions?
I do have a question, Ms. Perez.
Yes,
When it comes to vendors that get on this list, does that mean that these vendors are getting preference, that the district is going to be dealing with these vendors specifically, or what? Can you explain to the public what that means? Because I was told by a vendor that a person from the board told them that we're going to get you on the list and we're going to be ordering specifically from you. And so I just want to make sure that these vendors know exactly what this means when they're on the list of vendors.
So the process of getting vendors for our catering services is so that we can have a very wide variety of vendors that we can order from. It does not necessarily mean that they are going to be exclusive to whatever category that they service. It just means that through going out for bids, they are now part of the legal process of Interlocal, our board policies, which says we either have to go out for bids, purchasing co-ops, or board-approved vendors. So this process is just adding those vendors onto the list of allowed vendors that our businesses, that we can do business with. I'm sorry, excuse me.
Are they on a rotation basis or just?
Nope, no, sir. It is whoever they want to deal with at any given point. So for the most part, I can tell you that this list is very beneficial to our athletics program because we do have to take our students out for meals. It could be for catering services, for events, or it could just be for a meeting. It's for a variety of reasons, but it's not exclusive to those specific vendors.
So
It
it's
just
open,
adds.
it's open to any vendor, basically, to get on the list.
This process is open to any vendor who would like to be on our list.
So it's not, okay, perfect, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Silva, just to clarify, it's not who has better prices, it's just to expand the amount of vendors on the list. And
Doesn't every have to have a certain amount of limit that they can spend per employee?
allowable, yes, expenditure, we take the kids out to eat, et cetera.
Yes, no, okay.
And employees as well, we have a per diem. But putting them on this vendors list means that if they're out of town, or they're traveling, then they have other alternatives.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I may, I just want to add, I mean, I see a couple of these vendors. I'm surprised that one we're just barely adding, and I'm going to mention it, SB Wings, they have not been on the list?
I'm
Prior?
pretty sure that they have been. Mr. Cavazos will be able to
Okay,
give us
good.
some information. It could very well be that some of these vendors have expired on some of our previous list.
Good evening, Mr. Cavazos.
Ms. Sidwell. SB Wings was on the list. I had approached him because our renewals had already expired. So he forgot to turn in the bid again. So I went back to him again. I said, you got another chance. So that's where we got back SB Wings. See, this is a 3-year. We only have the original one that we approved and then 2 renewals. After that, they have to submit all over again. So it's only good for 3 years.
Okay.
So his 3 years were up, so we put him back on.
Well, I just want to reiterate, I'm glad he's back on because we
Yes, sir.
do need to support local businesses.
Yes,
and
I
they're
am a big
homegrown, they're
advocate
from here,
of
and-
supporting for local business.
Right.
Also come sometimes when new restaurants open, I physically go visit them and tell them, like the new bakery downtown.
Right,
It's
right,
awesome.
and exactly, and they are, it is a new
Yeah.
bakery, it's a good bakery,
Yes, sir.
and give them the opportunity.
Yes,
And
sir.
once again, I do want to reiterate, and I think this was already clarified, the organization, whether it be athletics, whether it be
Yes,
a
sir.
club, whatever, they have the option of who they want to go with for whatever their
Exactly.
specific need is.
Yeah, this
So I
is all
think
left
it's
to the
good.
departments and the campuses so they can make
How
their
are
own
you
decisions.
exposing-
Nobody dictates what they buy.
How are you exposing this to get on the list? for
Excuse
these-
me?
How are you exposing this to get on the list for the meals and catering services?
How do I'm sorry, I can't understand.
How are you advertising? How
Oh,
are
we
you-
advertise in the newspaper.
Okay.
We advertise in the website, and also I call them. I call them, make visits. Sometimes I go out all day visiting vendors, I've been trying to get Raising Cane's on there. I've been trying to get Chick-fil-A on there, but
Sir, I
Those
get,
are
I
kind
make
of
great
franchises,
enchiladas,
so-
and I'm not on the list. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
but I do concentrate mainly on San Benito business.
I make good meatloaf.
Excuse me? No, so, it's a lot of paperwork that they have to fill out, so sometimes the small businesses like that are kind of hesitant. I tell them, come to my office, I will help you fill it out, but, again, there's a little hesitancy there on trying to do it. When they buy Sweetberry, we just try to get, for them to get 3 quotes or whatever. It's not usually substantial, but I have approached them before. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cavazos.
This becomes an agenda item. Agenda item 2.3, review and discussion of proposals for professional consultant services district-wide, RFP 1221 PCF.
In the same manner that we do our meals and catering services, we do go out for bids for professional consultants. And for this request for approval, we have Comprehensive Training Center, Lakeshore Learning Materials, Mark White Learning LLC, and Project Lead the Way, Inc. And these, again, are also services that will be available if they choose to use them. Ms. Edvion, did you want to add something, ma'am?
Yes, and that's what's really important, that we have to really emphasize. We put the vendors on the list, but this is if we choose to use them. We are still evaluating currently our academic program. We're seeing what our priorities are, what our teachers' needs are, and our campus needs are. So at this point, I know that we have some vendors there that we may use and may not use, but just putting them on the list gives us that flexibility. Again, there may be some campuses that need something different, just depends on the needs of the students, of course, that's primary, and the needs of that campus. So this is, again, just to put them on the vendor list.
Any other questions, comments? This becomes an agenda item as well. Agenda item 2.4, review and discussion of proposals for general merchandise and services for district RFP 1221 GMS.
So this list, again, like the previous two, is probably one of our biggest lists. And this is what helps us get services to our students. And this one, we are requesting approval to add A+ medical examiners, All-Star trophies and T-shirts, Nightlock RGV LLC, RGV welding supplies, and T9 Sports. Any questions?
No questions, comments? Okay, this becomes an agenda item. 2.5, review and discussion to extend the proposals for charter bus services district-wide RFP 0321 CBS.
The Charter Bus Service District-wide RFP 0321 CBS we are requesting an extension of what we have already approved at a previous board meeting, and we do this annually, and this is extension 1 of 2. We have not had any concerns or qualms with any of the services, so we're requesting that the following are up for approval: All Valley Charters LLC, Discovery Charter Buses LLC, Escamilla Tour Buses LLC, OK Tours LLC, MVLE Enterprises Inc., doing business as thecharterbus.com, and Valley Transit Company. So this one is not on a rotation basis. This is mostly based on need. So if we have a large group, then we're going to go with the company that has the most availability. Any questions?
This becomes an agenda item.
Thank you.
Moving on to 2.6, review and discussion of ABC contract services and marketing tools.
So at
Go ahead.
the request of one of the board members, we would like to review and discuss ABC contract, the services they provide, and the possibility of marketing tools. And we did ask to have a representative from ABC. Is there someone available?
They know about this? They were the agenda?
Yes,
They were informed.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perez, just since we have it as an agenda item, can you tell us some of the services, Ms. Perez and Ms. Gonzalez, some of the services that are being provided to the district by ABC Company? I know I had asked for artifacts, any documents, any information showing some of the work that they've done for our district. But if you all have any of that to provide to us, or if you are able to talk about it right now, I'd appreciate it.
I would like to say something. Today, we did have a meeting with ABC Consulting. We are looking to, at our enrollment drive. So I requested for Ms. Gonzalez to call them to see how they could come and support our enrollment drive. I do know that in speaking to our staff internally, we have a laser focus now on how we can use them so that it is most beneficial for the district. I know that some of the times they weren't utilized because we didn't know the parameters to work with, but now I've provided clarity on that. I know that Ms. Alvarado decided to go ahead and along with Ms. Gonzalez to use them for our enrollment drive. I was able to sit there briefly today, but they were giving us samples of some of what they could do for us because we are going to do block walks. Yes, not blood walks. We want your blood. Okay, so, block walks, and we will be having like our hangar, which is where we're gonna emphasize our programming. We want our QR code to be included so we can take them to registration. But this has been my initial, initial interaction with them. I don't know about past samplings. I think that maybe Ms. Gonzalez can give you a little bit more background. And I know Ms. Alvarado said she had not used them previously, and neither had Dr. Cruz. So if you all would like to say anything about the meeting today or any other information you may have.
Can I interrupt real quick? I like what you're doing because that's what we hired you for. And I don't appreciate them not taking 30 minutes of the time to come address the board. They were the agenda. I mean, that's unacceptable for me. I wanted to meet them, I wanted to talk to them, and I mean, that's just my beef. I'm just venting right now. I'm upset, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
So yes, we did have a meeting today. Mr. Sergio Garcia, Mrs. Gonzalez, myself, and Ms. Albion did join us. As we look at our enrollment drive and what we're gonna do to promote having our students enroll early. So we did meet with both the ladies from ABC. It was a very good meeting. They did have a lot of samples to show us. So we're moving quickly as we have our CTE showcase coming up next Monday. So we want to have something ready to go. We will have to prepare the information that is needed, but they will put it all together for us. We also are going to really work hard at getting the enrollment drive information, the cards, the door hangers, for the homes as we do our visits to our homes as we enroll our students. So we did have a very productive meeting. There was a lot of samples that we're gonna, start working on, and hopefully we can start using quickly as of next week.
I'd like to make a comment if I may. And first and foremost, Ms. Rayon, thank you for reaching out to them and starting out by letting them know what our district needs are and how they can best help our district. Still, I've been on the board for a year already, and I am still interested. We are spending $108,000 a year. This has been already spent like 3 years in a row, and yet in the entirety of the time that I've been on the board, we've asked repeatedly that we would like to see some of the products or some of, we have asked, perhaps it's been verbally at our board meetings that, provide us itemized statements as to what services are provided. And not only are they not here to present to us, because those are questions that could be brought up now face to face. I still have those concerns. I would still like to be informed as to how we've utilized them in the past, and at $108,000 a year, I think that they should have been providing us some really, really good products. So I'm not saying that they have not, but I'd like to see what they have. And I would still like, what do we need to do, or as a board, to request those items as to itemized statements or samples of what they provided the district in the past?
We can reach out to them and ask for that itemization. Today, I know that something I did learn, and, our department that should really be utilizing these services is our academic department, because that's what we want to push out there, all the great things that San Benito CISD is doing. And that's why I spoke to Ms. Alvarado regarding, utilizing them more and for our drives. I also spoke to Dr. Cruz during our meeting about, our job fairs and promoting what we are how we're compensating our employees and what we're doing to support our employees at SBCISD. So just getting all that good stuff out, all that word out, we want to work in a very collaborative effort for them and maximize that expenditure. My question was, how can we use them without paying any more? Because I'm trying to, make sure that we get the most bang for our buck. They did come in today. That is the one question I asked as soon as I sat down. Okay, what can you all do for us? Because your contract says you can help us promote our district and publicize our district. So what do we get for what we're paying you every month? And they did say they could support us in, sending us the actual samples completed, worded with, just as long as we give them the information, they can organize all of that for us. Ms. Gonzalez, did you have something to add, or any experiences maybe you want to share?
We compile a set of the products that they produce for us.
I want to piggyback just off what Ms. Rayon said as well, and I always have, and I'm going to continue to do so. I give your department kudos because I think they do a phenomenal job for the district. But that we branch out with this company, and I think if we partner up and utilize them correctly and efficiently, I think that we do need to celebrate the successes, whether it be in partnership or whether it be something that maybe our HR, and I don't want to veer off the agenda item, but maybe our agenda, our PR department can start, why not branch out and get people to help us with billboards and celebrating the different successes. We did that, or I wasn't part of this, but before my time, we were able to do that when, with our strategic plan years back. You know, the strategic plan that was in place 5 years back, you know, when we had the new logo, it was advertised all over the place. You know, even today, despite COVID and all the challenges that we've had, we are doing great things in San Benito CISD. And so with your help and any other recommendations through your department that you might provide the board, I think we need to continue to celebrate those successes.
I agree, sir.
Thank you.
I want to add also, and I want to thank our technology department for all the hard work that they do as well. And like Mr. Medrano said, this is very upsetting that we're paying a company $108,000 a year, and we've had them for 3 years at least, and they were brought in to help improve our enrollment. However, when we have asked for documentation as to what has been done, what have they done to help improve our enrollment, all we see is the numbers going down, and you know, and we're paying this company, and there's no documentation to show that they have done work for the district. So if you do get something together for us, we'll go ahead and make this an agenda item for next meeting, so that way you can provide any information that you have, because the only thing I was ever told is they write speeches, so they're getting paid so much money a year to write speeches. You know, that really didn't make sense to me. And we need to be wise with our taxpayer money and use it wisely, and hold the you know, the district and these companies accountable. You know, thank you all very much for all the hard work y'all do.
And I would like to say that we do have, the contract we do have with ABC right now runs through April 2023. So we are going to be evaluating if it is advantageous for us to continue with the company, how we can maximize what they do for us now. And if it's not advantageous for us, then that's when a decision can be made. I did read through the contract. We do know the parameters of the contract now. And so we will be, you know, looking out for the best interests of our taxpayers' dollars, and also, most importantly, of our students.
Thank you, ma'am. And just like Mr. Moreno said earlier too, this is one of the reasons why we felt that Ms. Servillon would do an excellent job. She knows academics, she knows finance, she knows everything that has to go on with the district, and we felt she was the best person to do this. So I'm very appreciative, ma'am, that you came to the district to take care of our students and our staff. Moving on to the next agenda item, 2.7, review and discussion of financial comparison review.
So at the request of the board, we reached out to Moat Casey, to Mr. Josh Haney of Moat Casey, to request a quote to do a financial comparison review, which would essentially compare our spending at San Benito CISD to like-sized districts. At this time, we have not received a response, and when I say we, I mean Mr. Weller and I, because we both reached out to him, and we have not received a response from them. But Mr. Weller, would you like to add something before I continue, sir?
No, just that we did request a quote, and just haven't received it yet. So we were hoping to have a quote to present to the board as part of the board packet tonight, and I'm sure we can get one in advance of the regular meeting, but we just have not received it quite yet.
Mr. Weller, do you have any more information to add as far as what this type of report would do, or this study for the district?
Sure. In speaking with Mo Casey, what they indicated was that they can conduct an analysis of budgetary matters at the district in comparison to like-sized peers. So, and use that as a means of the board understanding, you know, whether there are areas where you maybe could improve a little bit, or areas where you can get the clarification and the confidence that you're expending entirely appropriate amounts, or even saving in comparison to peers. So that's the focus of a review like that, and they can do that, and that was the quote that we're awaiting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Vicky, for handling this as well. in my professional career, one of the things that I learned from a former superintendent is they say, surround yourself with experts, people that know the field, and so by us seeking out the assistance from an outside company, this is going to help our district as well to keep progressing and keep growing. The reason that I asked, and I brought it up several times already, is the concern that I've had myself personally is our enrollment has been dropping. We have over 1,000 students less than we did 5 years ago. However, our expenses keep growing, and in the last so many years, we had over 20 million growth in just expenses. And so my question was, are we okay as a district with our expenditures? Or do we need to cut down on wasteful spending? What are we doing? Because we want to make sure that we are able to keep our employees, that we're able to provide the best quality services for our students, and that we're not mismanaging our money as well. Thank you very much. That will become an agenda item. Hopefully by then we'll have a quote. Any committee concerns, questions? 3.1? No? At this time, then I adjourn this meeting at 7:30. Thank you very much.